Unit 9, Section 1, Politics of Life in the Roaring Twenties. Key developments before, during, and after World War I. Well, the major key development before World War I and during World War I, socially in the United States, was the Red Scare. Red Scare refers to a fear of communism. Communism is defined as a form of government in which all private businesses land and capital is controlled by the government. And the key behind this is all. Why is this so scary in the United States? Why is this such a scary thing in the United States? Because in 1917, while World War I was going on, Russia dropped out of World War I because of a Bolshevik revolution. The workers in their manufacturing centers rose up against the Tsar, or the leader of Russia, and killed him and his entire family. And many of these immigrants left Russia as part of the southern or eastern migration of immigrants to the United States after the Civil War, and came to America. Many of these new immigrants came to America and worked in factories in the big cities in the Northeast. Americans, just like many of these immigrants, and many of these immigrants faced a sense of nativism, or, as you remember from a previous lesson, that is a fear or hatred of foreigners. That's the term nativism. To compound the matters, that a lot of these Eastern Europeans were hated in America because they were new. Also, you have, with World War I going on and these immigrants living in the United States, there were some cases of sabotage and negative articles written in newspapers and protests about the American involvement during the war that went on. And so Congress, in reaction to this, passed a series of laws known as the Espionage and Sedition Acts. And the purpose behind this was to help win the war by limiting the amount of negativity within the American public, and also to capture people who either did bad things towards the United States. All of this, and at the same time, because of the economics of the United States coming from the Gilded Age, we know that workers up until this point had been mistreated by these big businessmen, these big robber barons, and a result of that was the rise of labor unions like Eugene V. Debs and the American Railway Union, the Pullman strike. Also, Samuel Gompers and the American Federation of Labor are two examples of unions during this time period. Well, people began, because immigrants are pouring into the country from Southern and Eastern Europe, because of nativism and because of World War I and the fear that many of these immigrants are from Germany and Austria and Hungary and coming to America, there becomes a fear of labor unions. So Congress reacts to this by passing the Emergency Quota Act in 1921. Quota means to limit. And what happened was Congress passed a law that limited the number of immigrants that could come into the United States and become citizens from Southern and Eastern Europe. This concludes Unit 9, Section 1, Red Scare.